I think like, I've got, so these are all
Yeah.
majors here.
Yeah, I
Here,
think
how about-
this is these, right? So
You
we've
take
got,
that one.
okay, are they,
I'll
oh,
take-
these are different, no, different decks.
That's right away.
Okay,
Yeah, this is that. I'm gonna try to put these in order.
okay, I'll do my best. Let's
Like
see,
simultaneously.
I know,
Okay, so the Major Arcana.
yeah.
The Fool.
The Fool, I found the Fool very quickly too.
I
Oh,
like it,
look
we
at
both did.
that. Okay, like there it
Do you wanna
is.
put it there so they can see it?
Oh, this is awesome. This one has 2 feathers. This one has 2 feathers in their cap and blindfolded.
Oh, yeah.
White and red.
I like that one.
I like that a lot. And with the rabbit.
You wanna
That's
put it right
fabulous.
there?
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
we can
Let's do it.
see it.
Yeah. Oh, don't sit inside. Okay, of course, knocked yours over.
Did you,
Ooh, yeah, that looks good.
couple
Mhm.
fools?
Yeah, just a couple of
Just a
fools.
couple fools talking about tarot.
Yeah, that's how we do.
So, what's the fool to you?
The Fool is me, because I'm an April Fool, so I have a very strong affinity for
You
the
were
Fool.
born on
I was
April
born on
Fools?
April Fool's Day.
Nice.
So whenever I see the Fool, I'm like, oh, there I am.
Okay.
There are a couple cards like that come up that are big, like yes cards for me, or like affirming
wait,
cards. Yeah, not the Fool.
Not the fool.
What do we have there? Oh, we have the Magician. You know, they're brothers,
No,
right?
that's a
Or
perfect
siblings.
thing to put for to make a foolish mistake. Because I don't even know what cards are. You know, I'm still learning.
Still learning. That's the beauty of it, right? We're always learning.
So
Yeah,
you
the
okay?
Fool,
So
I think of I see myself in it,
Mhm.
and I think to be a fool is to like not necessarily care so much about what other people think
Mhm.
in some ways, because if I cared too deeply about other people's opinions, I don't think I would be here right now
Totally.
reading tarot or in
Yeah.
Bend.
Yeah.
Who knows? Like I would be somewhere else having a very different life.
Mhm.
And so whenever I see the Fool, I think of it as being courageous to be somebody that feels a little unexpected, or to do something unexpected,
Mhm.
but that is the truth of you. And
Nice.
something that I read in 78 Degrees of Wisdom that always sticks with me,
Yeah,
Rachel
that's
Pollack,
a great
yeah,
one.
so good. And which was that, you know, the Fool has this sense of naivete to them, or innocence, but
Mhm.
not in a way where they haven't lived, but rather in a way where, despite having lived, they don't allow that to color their next experience. They look at
Mm.
every experience as a fresh start, and they don't allow what happened yesterday to affect the way they see today.
Nice.
And that is true innocence, if you're able to just like wash it away, like wash away what happened the
I
day
like
before.
that.
And I really love that.
Yeah.
So I guess those are the first, I mean, there's more, but those are
Sure,
the first
sure.
couple of
We
things that
could
come
go
to mind.
on.
We could go on for hours.
Yeah.
What about you?
So, I always think of the Fool as like the avatar, or so the way
Like the first Airbender
No.
avatar?
Well,
Okay,
well, like
not
as
that one. I love
so,
that.
yes, but well, so what I think of is like the Fool. I love how this is just falling down. It's
Maybe.
great.
Oh no, we don't want to do that. Okay.
It's okay. They'll
Do I have a
just keep
crystal in my
falling
bag?
down.
I can just like prop it up.
So I think of the Fool as like, the Fool is basically all of these. So there's 22 Major Arcana. There's the Fool, and then there's 21 cards. The Fool is numbered 0.
Right.
And I think of the Fool basically playing cosplay. That these are all the costumes the Fool wears. And so underneath this, every one of these, underneath it is the Fool. So it's just one way to describe it.
Mm-hmm.
Is that you could look at any of these 21 cards, and you could be like, okay, this is the Fool dressed up as strength. This is the Fool experiencing a hanged man moment.
Yeah.
So the Fool is like 0, nothing and everything, the ending and the beginning. No, I wanted to.
Just leave him. Leave him. He's
He
like,
wants
you know
to
what? I
fall off
wanna.
the cliff.
He's like, I'm ready to take this journey. Let's go.
So I think, yeah, I'm the fool.
Mhm.
Experiences continually teach me that, right?
Yeah.
It's important to kind of, I think the fool is also someone who in some ways will refuse rules. So I think at its best, the fool is someone who's like taking a jump, just going for it, trying it. I think at its worst, it's someone who is so rebellious that they just don't learn and they end up keep continuing to hurt themselves and fall and get up and fall and get up. And so like, that's I think part of some people's path too is to so that's the thing, it's outside of all this, right? It's a 0 point.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes the fool can be that place where nothing matters and you're not really dealing. And sometimes you have to come back to that foolish place and be like humbled.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh fuck, I really don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to gather your bag, and this is what I love about the fool, is that everything that's in that little bag is everything you see here. So the idea is that what's in that satchel is the totality of experiences that the fool will have. So that some people are like, and I also think of like a traveler kid, a crust punk, a hobo, a fool as like the original fools were beggars, a lot of them, so in these decks were people who were kind of just like wandering from town to town asking for help. But the idea is that within that magical satchel, the fool doesn't know it, but he actually has everything he'll ever need on his journey. So that can be a reminder sometimes when people are in a place of lack or worried that they don't have what it takes, that the fool can be like, no, you've actually got it all inside of you. It's just a question of taking chances. And then you get to see by taking chances what you actually have in that bag. And so there's the jumping off the cliff part of it. There's the dog, which I see as kind of like primal intuition. He's got this kind of like companion that's gonna sort of follow him, but also guide him in certain ways. And yeah, it's very much like Uranus, fuck around and find out energy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I like that. I like what you said about the dog. I always think of it as a reminder that like even though you're doing something on your own and it's scary, like you're not alone. Like you have somebody like with
Companion.
you, like some companion.
Yeah.
And I want to say even people who like are in really dire situations and they really are like, I am alone in this world, like I have no one to help me. I always say that strangers are often just friends we haven't met yet, right? And I think knowing that like, oh, I could just go up like literally to the gas station attendant and maybe they can help me with something, or anybody, and maybe I think we could surprise ourselves by, you know, doing some of that by just like talking to people we don't know, and it would show us like, oh wow, like there is always like somebody here for me even while I'm on my fool's journey, like even though I feel alone. And I always feel like that's what like the dog represents, and sometimes I feel like it represents like unseen, like ancestors, guides.
Cool.
For me, like when I see that little dog, I always
The
think
familiar.
of that. Yeah, you're familiar. Yeah. And also I think we can find blessings in like the most unexpected of places when we feel alone.
Definitely.
Sometimes like somebody like will just like come out of, you know, out of the woodwork or nowhere and like drop a gem of knowledge for us, or some support that we didn't anticipate. And for me, that's the little doggy.
Nice.
Yeah.
There's something to me also, about, well, I was just thinking about what we were talking about with like the mystic's path, and that's kind of what the fool is, just like purely guided by love, purely guided by whatever strikes his fancy at the moment, and just being like, ooh, that, without thinking. Without planning.
Yeah.
You know? I
also think oftentimes I find like when it comes up for others, when I read for others, it's always like the push out of the nest. Often. It's like go for it.
Yeah.
It's go for it.
I haven't asked you, do you read reversals?
It's funny. I am, as a Virgo rising, I have my cards upright. So if a reversal comes out, I'm like, ooh, okay.
Yeah.
And only recently have I accepted the okay, it's reversed, and I'm going to read it as a reversal. Probably only in the last
For
6
yourself or
months.
for others?
Depends. I decide before I go out if I'm
Yeah.
going to do it or not.
I don't read reversals for other people.
Mm-hmm.
I found that it's just simpler for me if I choose to remember it's a reversal and bring that into the kind of
that's how I will do it. Yeah.
And but for myself, it's always like when I'm about to pull,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, are we doing reversals or not?
Yes.
Not. Okay.
Yes.
But
yes.
How do you see the Fool reversed?
I see it as, so I want to say like reversals in general, I had to kind of like decide, or I remember thinking like, okay, I have to decide a system or a framework.
Sure.
How I'm going to
Virgo
read
rising.
them. Virgo rising. That's right. I have very little earth in my chart. That's the only thing, but it colors my chart. And yeah, so I think that might actually be the only earth thing in my chart.
Mm-hmm.
And so I see it as like, okay, like I need a system, right? And at first I really like prescribed to this system that all the reversals are the expression of that card, but internally, or like rather it's or receptively, or it's expressed in a more like feminine way.
Hmm.
But I've since then kind of like taken that idea and go, okay, if that suits me in the moment, and I trust that I'm gonna know. I trust that I'm gonna know it, like when I see
Which
it.
maybe as you built confidence,
Yeah.
that showed up more and more.
I think so.
Yeah.
So like for me, like the first thing when you asked me that was, I see it as somebody kind of like repressing wanting to go for it, or like they're giving themselves a million reasons why they shouldn't do it, or like why now is not the right time to do it.
Interesting.
And like I can't do it just yet, because I think of reversals oftentimes more as like an internal struggle, rather than external.
There's so many ways to read them. Well, I've picked out a bunch, but I like that. That it's an internal struggle.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm gonna write it down.
Okay. Cool. Yes. Beautiful.
Because the two ways I've read reversals is the shadow energy of that card, right? So it's like if this card is in its, the traditional word I guess is exalted, or in its best possible form, the Fool is going for it, trusting yourself, not, but then the shadow side of that to me could be not planning enough, not having structure, acting like a child when it's time to be more mature. That can be Fool reversed for me sometimes.
Yeah, I see that.
But also the way I can read reversals sometimes is that energy is beginning to rise. And so that's why I like your internal, because maybe it's happening internally first, and it's not yet shown up. Yeah. And it's cooking. It's cooking in you. It's not fully. It's a half-cooked cake. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of how I see reversals a little bit sometimes. Like it's present. Yeah. But it's not fully expressed yet. And why? Yeah. And why is that? Yeah. But I like what you said. It's like you said it's did you say like not enough planning, or more childlike, or well, just foolish in the sense of being stupid and arrogant. Because Fools can be jesters. They can point out the problems with society by making jokes about them, right? But then there are also times where people are playing the Fool when they don't want to grow up. Yeah. Or they keep reverting to this Fool identity rather than doing the responsible things, And so that can be Fool reversed for me sometimes. But I also like the idea of fighting against internally, just going for it. Yeah. So these are, shows a lot of different ways that this card could be. And I think they kind of match each other, because like internally what you're saying is like arrogance, or like, just like whatever, like I'm just gonna do it without any planning. Yeah. I think that's also like internal, because it's like you could have planned a little bit, like like you could have like organized that a little bit. Yeah. But no, it's like no, I'm just gonna go for it. Yeah. 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 Yeah, for sure. They both, and there are more ways to read this, but I think that's just like the one that pops
that
Nice.
pops for me, yeah.
So when you see Fool in a reading,
Mhm.
is it a go for it sign often? Is it just kind of, I mean, obviously it's
Yeah.
complex, like I've
Yeah.
seen it go a couple different ways, a lot of different ways.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking about, I did one yesterday and the Fool came up
Mm-hmm.
and it was, and you know, without giving too much away
Mhm,
about the reading, it was kind of about like how to find that right partner or where they will find them. And I read it as, well, when you do the thing that scares you, like when you go for the thing that, you know, shakes things up for you, when you really start to venture down a path that feels really true for you,
There they'll be.
Like,
Yeah.
and I think too, the way I read it was, because it depends on the question too, right? The way I read it was like, you probably are not going to find them in the places that you frequent. It's going to be in a place that is brand new for you or that you hadn't gone to before. And it's probably going to also be something you decide on a whim, like that night, like, hey,
Which
I just
is
want to
full
go,
energy.
which is full energy,
Yeah,
which is like, you know what, like, I'm just gonna go to that event tonight. I don't know why, I wasn't planning on it. It starts in 30 minutes and I'm just gonna go.
Yeah.
Like that type of energy is Fool energy.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like trusting yourself too and just knowing, like it's a trust fall energy. Like I just know that this feels right and I'm gonna go for it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very often with Fool, when I'll pull it in a reading, what I'll say to someone is, stop taking yourself so seriously.
Ooh.
Like why, you know,
I love
like,
that.
don't forget, you can be foolish. You can, here's, like, I've even told people before, like, this is my pass to you. Go do something stupid, go do something unplanned, be a fool.
Learn something from it.
Yeah, it's like, I'm giving you, this card is giving you permission to do something dumb.
Yeah, I freaking love that because you could see it too, like saying, hey, like if you don't try it, you're never gonna know. Like you're never like you. Some people will sit in their house their entire lives and not want to crack open a window because it's too frightening. Like what's out there, right?
Exactly.
But the Fool says, like, take a chance.
Yeah,
just
and
go
that's
for it.
That's the Uranus too. Is the idea of spiritual rebellion. Well, rebelling and doing the thing that people tell you not to do because you are just so actively interested in finding out what happens if you do it. And so that
fuck around and find out.
Exactly. And that to me is like why there's something about, I've read in the more esoteric kind of thing about the Fool, the zero being the egg. And there's a connection for me with the Fool and so, well, this doesn't quite make literal sense, but like Humpty Dumpty, but like cracking the egg to hatch.
No, I love that.
Is like the Fool falls off the wall, cracks, and then becomes all of these things. So if the Fool, so there's a certain degree of needing to break, needing to jump and crack.
I just have this beautiful image of like sea turtles, sea turtle nest, and all the eggs opening, and then all the little babies like going for the shore, or for the shore, and to like to the ocean, and like it like becoming like all of these.
Well, and I think it's important too, especially with a lot of this stuff, is to remind people of the violent nature of nature sometimes.
Okay.
Of like that there's Fool moments can be broken things, can be broken bones, can be like that you fucked around and tried and then you got hurt, but you learned from that.
Yeah.
And that you bounce back because you're a happy Fool still, you know?
Right, you don't let it color your next day. You
Yeah, and so I think there's part of that and I think a lot about I just think about like train hopper kids who are just like living, like fully living. Like it's not the life that people in houses would ever choose.
Yeah.
But they decided that they're gonna put all their shit on their back. They're gonna do something really stupid, which is to jump a train. They're gonna cross country on it, and then you see these insights into like, that's a life I don't know. Like, what is that world? And there's so much of that out in the world.
Like, just moving around.
Yeah, and so that's wild and free to me in a certain way.
Yeah.
And then there's a certain amount of, they get to experience things that those of us that stay at home never do.
Yeah.
You know.
And when you see the Fool, do you typically think like they've overplanned and like, okay, it's about time, go do this thing? Or do you think it's more like you don't need to plan so much, maybe figure it out as you go along, or both, or neither?
It can be very much in the moment for me. It could be both. It could be, I mean, the Fool is like a wild card too.
It really
The
freaking is, right?
The Fool, so that's the
it
thing.
Can go anywhere.
Is that that's
Yeah.
what's so fun about it?
Mhm.
Is that we are here trying to define something that is kind of the one card that is undefinable.
Yeah.
To be honest, like I think that's a really important point that people should leave space for.
Yeah.
Is that sometimes the Fool is this thing that's just out there that is going to come around out of nowhere and create chaos. It can be like Tower in some sense, right? But one of the things that I am just constantly reminded with Fool is just why so serious? It's Joker.
It's a Joker.
Yeah, it's the Joker card.
Like,
and it's so it could be. Okay, you did all this planning, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay,
you haven't executed
you haven't,
it.
yeah, exactly. And then it's okay, you're so serious, but you forgot that life is actually full of fun and joy.
Yeah.
And so there's so many different angles, that it can kind of come at. I mean, I'm just looking at all these cards and I'm like, we're not gonna get through all these.
No, there's no way. We might as well just like, accept that right now. We'll come back to this later on if we meet again on Sunday. But like, I was just thinking of the Fool and almost, right, that idea that you can insert the Fool anywhere in the story, right, in the journey, and just kind of going like, okay, like what if we were to place the Fool after the High Priestess? Like, what does that say? Like, what did they learn from that? I always think of it as like, what did I learn from that? Or like, where am I in my journey? Oh, we could. Oh, that's fun. Yeah.
Where do you want to toss the Fool first?
I was just gonna go down the road, but it could really be anywhere because I just thought, why not?
Well, the Fool is the magician. I'm kind of tempted to.
You want to go to the world?
Start at the end, yeah.
Okay, let's go. I love going to the last page of a book when I first get it.
Really? Really? That's fun. That's Fool behavior.
Sometimes, not necessarily the very last line.
Yeah.
But sometimes, like, I want to see. And then I can tell like if I'm getting too much from that last page and I'm like, oh no, I know how it ends, or if it's kind of like, obtuse and I'm like, oh, I actually have no idea. But sometimes I like to see
you
like
spoil it.
I spoil it. I like a spoiler. No, I like to be in the story, but sometimes I like to go to the end and just be like, what's happening back here? And I'll just like read a couple lines. But okay, that was too much. It's like peeking at a Christmas present before it's time to open. I would do that too. Like, what's in here? Okay. And I'd see just like a little bit and then run off. So we could go to the world.
Okay, do you want to do that?
Sure, I've never done this before. I'm gonna take my Fool.
Yeah, do it. I'm gonna give it like a quick overview because obviously anyone that's watching this is probably already a tarot nerd.
Yeah.
But it's helpful to say that the Fool is 0 and then you have 1 through 21.
Yeah.
And so what I got from the Pollock book was that there's 777.
Yes.
And the idea with the Major Arcana that I picked up first from that book and then from a couple other books is that the 22 cards of the Major Arcana are about the soul's journey. And then the minors are about what's happening in life.
That's how I got it. I would agree with that. Yeah.
And that can be interchangeable, but that's not by any means like the way you have to read them. But this is kind of, for me, it's helpful, I think, to understand that when you pull a major, it's a little deeper and maybe at times more mysterious and harder to explain or specifically point out than a minor card would be.
Yeah.
That it's more mythological, conceptual, soul level. And so that might be cooked or baked down at a deeper place. So that's just for me. And then the idea is that it begins with the Magician through Chariot, or the first 7 cards. I've seen this in the Jungian sense as like self, and then there's ego, and then superego.
You would know that one more than me. I know what Rachel Pollock said. The way she said it sounds similar, but and this is how I explain it in readings. Like that first line is what we were told we're supposed to do. Like what we were told we're supposed to do by society, like,
Okay.
you know, like these are like the tangible things
This
like
is
that you
society
achieve. This is
and
society.
being raised in society.
Being raised in society,
Okay,
and
and
like,
then this,
and when we get to the chariot, like the final one is kind of like, oh, you've checked all the boxes. Like when we get to the
Yeah.
chariot, it's like you've checked the boxes, like you've done
You've
the
developed.
schooling, you've developed,
You're an adult.
you're human, you've
Okay.
humaned successfully.
yeah.
And now we move to the next line,
Mhm.
which is more, now you go a little deeper. This is more psychological. This is more like
Got it.
understanding the self at a deeper level,
Got it.
right?
Yeah.
Is strength through temperance, is that right? Or strength through the devil? Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes.
Oh, I like this. These are traditional, or these decks have a different, you did it the right way, you
Mhm.
know from Rider Waite,
Yeah,
but
but they
these,
have a different.
they
Oh, this is
flipped.
an 8.
Yeah, no, but that's the Rider
But you're-
Waite way.
Yeah.
So these are the only two
I didn't even
cards
look
that
at
are
the numbers.
interchangeable. Yeah, exactly, because you gotta memorize.
Yeah, okay. Well,
Oh,
yeah, we can
sorry,
see-
then
yeah,
you
no.
were- I wasn't listening because I was
Psychological,
focused.
no,
Okay,
you're right.
psychological.
Psychological, right?
So
is
that's-
then strength through temperance,
Yep.
or because this is not the Rider Waite way, sometimes justice and strength is interchangeable.
Exactly.
And like, what is that system? That is the,
Well, this
what do
is,
we call that? Because that
uh,
happens in certain decks.
so Thoth does it, but also Marseille does
Say
it.
does it.
So this is what the old school decks basically, and then Pamela Coleman Smith was part of the Golden Dawn, and so the
Mhm.
Golden Dawn decided to flip them.
Okay,
I
Okay.
believe, I could be wrong.
okay.
I like
yeah.
strength at. I don't know what I like, but I just know that what I'm used to and what I'm not used to.
Same, back they go.
Well, so okay,
Yeah,
great, and then
okay.
so
And then
psychological.
Psychological, and
this
then the
one?
5 sign is connection to source or spirit.
Yeah.
Something bigger, or understanding that you're a part of something bigger than you.
Okay, so that makes sense because
yeah.
it's building yourself into what they told you you're
Mhm.
supposed to become,
Yeah,
and then learning what you actually
what you
are,
actually are, like who am I
in the world.
actually?
and then this is something deeper and
Yeah,
spiritual.
But I'm so much more than even what
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah,
Like I am, like we're all connected. This is all like an interwoven fabric.
love it.
Is my understanding
Yeah.
of the third line.
So yeah, so I think the Jungian is this is the self.
Mhm.
This is the ego that's formed in the world, and then this is when the world, or when the ego starts looking into what is deeper.
Yeah.
And that lines up.
That lines up. That tracks.
So, okay, so the Fool in the world.
In the world.
So I like this because it's like we're starting at the end,
yeah.
and the end is the
two
beginning.
end parts of the loaf, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. I like it. Okay.
Oh man, that's funny.
Yeah.
So I used to work at a bakery. Do you know what the industry term is for the end part of
I
the
just
loaf?
know it in German. I don't
What is
actually
it in
know
German?
Knust.
Okay, so that's just the crust, right? Is like literal translation?
No, the Knust is like
Oh,
literally
the
like
Knust.
the
I thought you
Knust.
said Krust.
Oh no, the Knust is like the literal ends of the loaf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I worked for a German bakery
Okay.
called Beckman's
Okay.
in Santa Cruz,
Mhm.
and I worked at farmers markets. And my boss, he's this great guy. He had jokes for days, but he's like, so let me tell you what this thing's called. It's not really an industry standard. I mean, he's like, forget the way he said it, but he's basically like, it's not exactly politically correct,
Oh
but
God.
within the traditional community, we call that the cripple.
Oh no. That's
So
it's
it's the edge, that one piece of
Mhm.
the. So I always think of that like
Yeah.
in my head.
Yeah.
All right, so this
Okay. Well, here we got the Knusts. All right. The ends of the bread,
yeah.
if you will. Yeah.
So,
Okay.
what is the world for you, and then what is the Fool doing in the world?
Wow. No one's ever asked me that before. I gotta take a moment.
This is why we play this
I
game, right?
know.
I mean, I have to ask myself the same thing.
Yeah, like I mean, in its simplest definition, I think of the world as like you made it, right? Or
Mhm.
like you did it. You did the thing,
Yeah.
and you did the thing that you've actually been thinking about for a long time, and maybe even doubting yourself that you could do the thing.
Yeah.
I think that has a lot to do with it
Hmm.
because I kind of think of this as like the slaying the dragon card.
Yeah.
Like whatever that means for you,
Hmm.
like whatever that looks like for you. And for a lot of people, I think it can when I read for others, it can come
Mhm.
up as something that they've completed, like
Yeah.
grad school program,
Yeah.
or they got that promotion, or
Yeah.
they had like a successful first year in business, and or
Mhm.
something like that. But I think it can also be, I will say, when the last time I saw this card for myself, in a year ahead reading, it represented last year's month of May, and that was the first and only time that I've ever taught tarot. Like that I was like at the front of the room and I taught tarot the best I could. In typical Virgo rising fashion, created a 27-page handout with color, and people could write in it.
Love
and
it.
all,
Love it.
because I had to.
Yeah.
So I think of this as slaying the dragon and kind of saying like, I did it.
Yeah.
Like we did it, we're here. And there's a little bit of like a bittersweet energy to this card, because I also believe it says like, now what? Okay, you did the thing, and now what?
Totally.
Right? So while oftentimes I think when we look on social media or we read in books, people will oftentimes call this the, in quotes, best card in the tarot. And I think maybe, but also I think it teaches you a lot. It's just like full circle lesson.
Yeah.
And then asking yourself like, wow, what did I learn about myself, or what did I learn about all of this, or like, wow, I've like completed that cycle. And now what do I do?
Yeah.
Right?
That's for me the big energy of this card is you're completing a chapter, but the end is also the beginning. So very often with this card, I'll ask people, what is naturally wrapping up, or what are you completing? And are you focusing so much on that that you're not aware of what's also beginning? Because sometimes this card can be like satisfaction, happiness, balance, or other times it can be like, I just gotta get through this. It's gonna be over soon. It'll be good, but I'm not there yet. And with every ending is the beginning. So I ask people sometimes, if you're focusing so much on what's ending, are you also focusing on what's beginning? And that maybe can be underneath it where the Fool is, thinking about synthesizing.
Yes.
So this
I didn't answer that part. Okay, yes.
No,
keep going.
Well, okay. So the biggest thing I think of is this character is the androgynite. So this is actually the male and the female alchemically fused into one being. And so the idea is that everything that's been going on here has completed. You've learned, and a lot of these cards are masculine, feminine, masculine. They have like energies that the Fool is learning about, experience, right? And then what's going on in this one is that that's been fused into one thing, so that there was a way where you took what was in the past a duality, and that you've learned unity. So this is, to me, unity consciousness being, and there's the laurel, so there's a celebratory, kind of thing. I also always remember the world is the hanged man right side up.
What?
Yeah.
You just blew my mind. I do not know this. Whoa! No way!
Yeah.
And what's so cool? Oh my god! What's
this
so
is the endless moments of tarot.
No way. Okay, what's so cool about this, I think, specific,
I mean, here it
like
is.
art piece of these two is that like you've got, right, so there you've got the rope, but here you've got the hanged man with the snake wrapped around their ankle, and then you have like that,
and Caduceus, and that's,
and then the snake, like the one that eats itself, what's the word?
Ouroboros,
yeah.
Nice.
So you have that continuity.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Okay. What do we have here?
Well, that's
the Fool in the world.
Okay.
But
let me pull out Hanged Man now.
But we could do these two, because I think that's a cool.
Yeah.
That's
totally.
a cool little.
That's what I'll bring next
Look
week
at
is a little card display thing.
I've got one too, of course.
Yes.
Of course we do. Of course you and I have those card displays. We need to know what we're pulling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's so cool.
Okay. So
the Hanged Man.
The Hanged Man.
And
so
the world.
The world is that completion of whatever that project was, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you were meditating on, whatever you were suffering through, whatever you had to get upside down to see.
What you were processing.
And there's something about the world doing a dance, I think about a lot, like a little jig. is like a happy dance. So there have been times in a reading where I've been like, what's your happy dance right now? Like what makes you happy and what makes you feel like accomplished? I think that's a good word for me with the world is accomplishment. And so and I think of like the feeling. It's funny because what you began with was the feeling of completing a book. Like when you read the last chapters and you're like, which you already knew, apparently.
I want to get right to the end. I will go back and enjoy it. I just want to read a little.
Typical Aries.
Yeah. I need to know. Yeah.
So, so that's, I'm glad I could share that with you.
Yeah, thank you. Here, I'll put these two back, and then the Fool and the World. And so, okay.
So then maybe let's talk about what the Fool
in the world
is.
Okay. Do you have something that you're thinking? Because I might need to scroll this over.
My thought is that the Fool has learned. To me, the character in the world is actually pretty close to what the Fool originally was. There's something about the end is the beginning, that you were always this, that everything changed, but also nothing changed.
I also take this as like the world has all these pieces inside of them, right? So it's like all the different versions of you are in here. Right? And like because the Fool can be anywhere, it's like, and they wear that costume, as we were saying in the beginning, of each card as they travel through, like it's like all of that is within here, right? And then the Fool playing the role of the world, I kind of, it's giving graduation. It's giving graduation.
That's
it's
good.
like, and of any kind, and like from high school on, like it is what it's giving to me. Like if these two were to come out to me in a spread, I would go, congratulations. Like honestly, that's the word that pops. Because I'm thinking of these as coming out together.
Well, the Fool is doing it. This is, I think, if I were to read these two cards together, it would be you're doing it your way and you're completely successful. Like you're not doing it any other way other than your way, and that needs to be celebrated. Right? Is there's something about honor, success, achievement, but also like complete individuality. Where you actually, like, to me the Fool shrugs criticism off. It's like, what's that?
That's your problem.
Exactly. Like we don't deal, and there's something about the world being like, we're not beyond that, but we see criticism, and we're also moving in a place where we're digesting it, and it's not pulling us down, it's not weighing on us. It's there, or the troubles that we've had in the past are part of what made us this thing.
I think also like the Fool in the world is also giving me happy, like just pure happy, like cool, like what you said, like the dance, like where the world card dances, like I see the Fool in the world card kind of just like dancing and going like, cool, great, like we're here, like what's next, right? Like what are we did this thing, and like it's like being very wise while containing your whimsy, or like having your inner child come to play, even like though you know a whole lot. Like some of the people that I think of in life that I really like look up to are ones that are older than me, but that aren't afraid to be silly, or that can also go like, it's not that deep. It is, but it's also not. And I am, I have a lot of wisdom, but like that doesn't mean I can't also be joyful, playful, and
I'm thinking
not
of
take
like
it too seriously.
the perfect summer camp experience.
Okay.
Like there's the kids are having fun. There's so much nature. Everyone's screaming and yelling, but then all the counselors are super cool and also kind of wise. And so it's like you're outdoors, you're getting dirty, you're learning things, you're being foolish, you're falling, you're hurting yourself, but also it's contained in this summer camp world. And then at the end of the time, this is the feeling of like the end of summer camp. When you're like, oh my God, guys, it's been so much fun. Like, I'm gonna miss you. And you're crying.
That's right. But promise you're gonna write.
Yeah.
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 And maybe you will or maybe you won't.
Yeah. Because you're a fool.
Because you're the fool. You may or you may not. And you may just completely move on.
It just reminded me of such a warm series of memories that I had in summers.
Oh.
And like places that I've been where the world, because I was young and naive and foolish, felt so incredibly exciting. And that's innocence, you know?
Yeah.
But then now, how can you hold that feeling? Like, how can you continue to have that feeling in hard times?
It's a reflection point, right? I think of this as, right, like the fool now in the world is saying to me, like, look how far I've come. Like, look at how much I've done. And some of it was like really fucking hard, and also some of it was pretty joyful. And look at all the things I learned.
It's true, because he's been all of these cards. He's looked death in the face. He's been a hermit. He's done all these things.
You know, the tower. And then also, I know because we were talking about astrology, it's Saturn ruled, right? The world? Is it Saturn ruled?
I don't know, actually.
I think it is. So I want to say it is. Do I have? No, I don't have my cheat sheet with me, but I'm pretty sure. And that, for me, like, gives it this level of, like, there was discipline also involved to, like, get here. And there was some structure, and there were lots of hard lessons that were learned, like.
That makes sense.
And the fool within here says, like, I did really hard things, but I continued to keep my spark about me. I didn't let that, or my uniqueness, my rebelliousness, like, I didn't allow it to leave
you didn't lose
me,
that.
Despite.
You didn't conform.
I didn't conform. Yeah. I didn't sell my soul.
It's like you crafted more soul. Like, that's something that I just watched, like, a really good talk by this author named Michael Mead, and he was just talking about, in these hard times, the goal is to build more soul. So doing work like this, or going inward, or reflecting, helps us build more soul so that we can be more in touch with ourselves and ensouled. And so to me, this is almost like that moment where, look at all this soul work. Look at all this crazy soul work that's been going on. And then this guy's like, wow, when I started, I had no idea what a long string trip this would be. And here I am.
Here we are.
At this place of, like, I got a lot of soul.
Soul work. I mean, I remember in Rachel Pollack's book, her mentioning that a lot of people don't get past the first line, like of the chariot. That so many people don't actually jump into like line 2 or line 3, right? Which is like where like the real crux of like the soul work occurs. I mean, you need line 1 in order to have, I guess, I think you do. I think it matters. I think having that foundation.
It happens to you. This happens to you, and then these are what you bump across,
or you choose to engage with, because you never have to. You really don't.
Well, and also it never happens linear, right?
No,
It's not like they're like, this is your magician year, this is your high priestess year. Like, people say that, and there's those systems that create that, but I think like certain things only occur. Well, that's a good way to put it, is you have to put yourself out there in the world like before. You have to keep jumping. You have to keep like stepping forward on the path. And that pulling these cards can give you a sense of what soul work you're up to now. It's almost like, what's your assignment these days? Right. What keeps coming up? Tower, and we talked about that last time. It's like, that's a heavy soul assignment.
It really is. It's a big one. It's asking you to do a lot. And like, and it's interesting too, because I find like, when I read for others, you know, and this like, we're at the chariot, but, and while yes, like the chariot has its, you know, definitions if you were to go into a book, I find that like it often comes up with people who are in midlife and are like, I've done all the things, what else? Or like, I did all the things, but I don't necessarily feel fulfilled. I feel the chariot comes up, and now we're just kind of jumping, but like... No, that's fine. Let's talk about the chariot. I like, this one's the only chariot I've ever seen, which is backwards view. And also they're not standing upright. They are standing upright, but they're tilted. they're kind of holding on. Usually I find the chariot, like the person is very straight up and down, back straight,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Full chest out.
This one's funny. The horses don't have backs.
What?
So I looked at this one and I was like, these horses don't have rears.
They don't have rears. They're not drawn, or we can't see them. Or they're,
It's like a wood carving, but it's a weird angle.
I'm kind of getting like, but that would be impossible. Like that they are underneath and they've gone through this chariot.
Well, like, what's up with the wheels? The wheels are sideways.
The wheels are not getting you anywhere. This is a stationary
It's a
chariot.
wonky chariot.
This wheel, yeah, this is not.
Chariot's a good card to do next.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do it. We can.
Yeah.
All right. Cause yeah, the fool in the world.
Fool in the
Any
world.
last thoughts?
I think one thing to think about is that a lot of the worlds have, for some reason, I go back, this is like a meditation thing, the 4 fixed signs.
Yeah, I was
In
like,
the
oh, we
corner?
didn't even touch on that,
Yeah.
really, did we?
Yeah,
We
no,
do.
so it's Scorpio, Aquarius, Taurus, and Leo. So you have the lion, the bull, the water bearer, and the eagle,
Yeah.
but it could also be other things for Scorpio. But
This
yeah,
one's cool because you can see the elements there too. Oops.
I
This one
think
gives it as elements,
Yeah.
which I think is really neat.
I do like that. This deck is great.
Yeah. I like
So
that.
my one meditation I've had on this
Yeah.
is that this is the soul, the spiritual, psychological, constructed self existing in a fixed world. So the world has all this shit going on spiritually, but the focus on the fixed is that this is a soul who knows how to achieve on the physical plane. That you hold, the masculine and the feminine within you. You have 2 magic wands instead of just 1 magic wand, which is another exercise for meditating on what's the second magic wand? Where'd that come from? What's the deal with it? And then you flipped your meditations and you're now living them, right? And so this is existence here and now successfully in a fixed way.
Yeah.
So there's consistency. There's
Yeah.
something about that I feel like the
Yeah.
world is about. Is like, you're about to go and get it. You know how to.
You know how to do it. And
Yeah.
I think too, that's bringing up for me when I see this card as well. Like I get, that it's showing like you can maintain this energy, or like or what is your relationship with maintaining this energy? Like how do you feel about that?
The fixed
And
nature.
what would it look like if you were asked to maintain it? Yeah, the consistency. If you were asked to maintain it, let's say for like a couple weeks or like a month, because as somebody who has a lot of cardinal energy and very little fixed, I go,
Same.
yeah, okay, I go, let's try this. Let's try to what would that look like for me?
I have a lot of fixed actually.
Okay.
But yeah, okay.
I go, what would that look like for me? Or, when it comes up in a personal reading, and I say like, all right, like what is my relationship with that? And even if it feels uncomfortable, and I'll know when I'm like, okay, it's time to break it.
Yeah.
But I do think it kind of shows, it's like a little like you can do this, like you can maintain these different elements and keep them all kind of going, because it's like the 4 different ones, right? So you've got your fire, your earth, your water, your air, right? So it's like a beautiful cooking pot. I like all these cooking metaphors.
Yeah.
It's
Those
like
are
this
good.
big pot, right? That you're cooking all the things in.
Are you
and
hungry?
Maybe.
Do you want? You should definitely have a big fire.
Thank you. I will take this when I go to do some therapy in about half an hour on my drive. Thank you. And so yeah, I think like it's just kind of asking you like, what's your relationship with like maintenance? With like keeping up like things that you've achieved. And like so I'm getting this image of like, learning an instrument and going like, cool, I think I got that. I think I can play a couple of songs. And now what does that look like for you? Like you've hit that world moment with it, let's say like the piano. And now you can come back and be like, oh, is it now like every week I practice a little bit? Is it I get together with some friends and have a jam session?
You take it out.
You
live with it in the world.
Yeah.
It's not internal.
Right.
It's like now like you were saying, like the artist who paints eventually has to do a show. That can be a world moment, right?
Right. And it's like, okay, now do I keep showing my art? Do I decide how often do I want to do this? What is my relationship with like what those consistencies look like? Because we all have different capacities, right? And so it's like, okay, how do I live with or live with consistency for myself, like in this world.
That,
moment,
it just
in this
makes me think of
accomplishment.
when you and I met
Mhm.
the fools in the world and being
Uh-huh.
like, hey, I think I'm a reader and I'm good at this.
Yeah.
You're one
Yeah.
too. Like,
Yeah.
that's kind of like the friendship we formed. It's
Yeah.
like, we're taking this skill we have
Mhm.
out into the world, and we still are here, right?
Right.
But it's wondering, and that's interesting because you could go through each one of these signs and
Mhm.
think about what our gift is in an Aquarian
Mhm.
sense, what our gift is in a Leo sense, what our gift is in a Taurus sense or a Scorpio sense, you know?
Mhm.
Because there's, yeah, that's sort of the four corners,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, I think about it, now I'm thinking about it as like the cauldron.
Mm.
Like, this is the pot, you
This
cooked
is
up,
it.
you cooked up the stew,
Mhm.
and you're ready to serve,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And
Ready to
it's
serve,
good
it's
to
done.
know.
And I like how it has the laurel wreath around it, right? That's the
Mhm.
circle, right? It's just like,
Yeah.
oh, it's all in here.
This
Mhm.
also, I think of the egg, but
yeah.
also the Ouroboros on
Mhm.
that one.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
awesome. Okay,
Cool,
how
all
much
right.
time do you have?
Uh-oh.
Let's do that. Yeah.
Maybe not a whole lot.
Okay. Do we want to just?
Maybe
Yeah.
I need to.
Well,
Okay.
okay. So we got to that one. That's perfect.
All right, we did one. Check.
I think that's like an hour. Yeah, 50 minutes.
Whoa.
Perfect.
That's wild. We can talk about the Fool and the world for an hour.
I know. It's nothing.
That's nuts. Absolutely nuts. And so cool all at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.